We're getting Patanjali stuff here in Norway, which is pizza outside. Yes, pizza cost 25 euros.
This video, let's talk about cost of living, Poland versus Norway. Just tell me, how expensive is Norway?
Well, Norway is definitely one of the most expensive nations to live in the whole world, according to the indexes. And it's true, it lives up to its expectation. But having said that, it's not expensive when you can manage yourself. Like, for example, as a student, you would spend, say, 500 to 600 euros per month, maybe a bit more if you're too much outgoing and spending a lot of time trying to eat outside or going to pub and socializing. But if you can manage yourself, it's pretty okay, because as a student, the biggest component for your cost is your accommodation. And that could anywhere vary between 400 to 600 euros, which is quite standard in many of the European countries. But having said that, if you're going to eat pizza outside, yes, pizza costs 25 euros. So, or if you're going to have a fancy beer, it would cost you 11 to 12 euros just for a pint. So there are differences in certain things, but if you can put yourself inside, it would cost you. Of course, the food expenses are a bit more higher compared to Poland and stuff. But having said that, you can still manage a very affordable student life. As a work, yes, you pay higher taxes, things are higher. Like if you have anything extra, like a house, like a car, it just adds on. You know, anything you have extra, it just, the tax keeps going high for everything. So overall, you might end up with very little money in your hand, but still you have a very high quality of life for the salaries what you get here. But traveling within, like a bus ticket for a single ticket is 3.5, 3.6, 4 euros approximately. So you see the variation is quite significant in that sense.
I'd like to come back on the pizza. So I would say here in Poland, you can get a decent pizza for, let's say, like 5 euros. Yeah.
But when you talk about decent, like I didn't talk about the kebab pizzas which you get, which is, you could still get it for 15 euros in Norway too. But if you want to get like a restaurant pizza, it costs anywhere between 18 to 25 euros, I would say, depending on which part and which restaurants you're going to.
For example, in Poland, if you're going to like a fancy restaurant and eating pizza, then still it'll cost you, I think, not more than like 10 euros or 8 euros.
So it's like 2.5 times more in Norway, I would say. And what about the beer and alcohol? I think Poland is like nothing. It costs like water.
Poland, I mean, for alcohol, I would say like Poland is a heaven for alcohol. If you are alcoholic, come to Poland. Because yeah, it's the truth that in Poland, like sometimes water is more expensive than alcohol. If you go to a grocery store or any store, and if you buy a liter of water, it will cost you, let's say, 4 Polish zloty, let's say 1 euro. And if you are at the same time, if you are buying like a liter of alcohol or 500 ml, so it will cost you like half euro, like 50 euro cent, like 2 Polish zloty, 3 Polish zloty.
No. Norway, they tax a lot on cigarettes and alcohol, which I completely support, because it also avoids people to kind of spend a lot of money on these things. So in Norway, you would never get something for cheapest beer. What you can get in Norway could be around 2.5 euros, which is for a 330 ml.
Really?
Yeah. So that's kind of somewhere around at least 2 euros. There's nothing less than, I have not seen any, you don't get many things which is less than €1 in Norway, for example. Like an ice cream would, a good quality ice cream would cost you like 12, 13 euros.
So that I would say like Poland is way, I mean,
like vegetables are very expensive here, for example, compared to other parts of Europe. So yeah, I've traveled in Germany and Poland and stuff, or Slovakia, for example. You would get a very nice meal for 2 euros, while in Norway, that same thing would cost you 20 to 25. But the good thing in Norway is there's no significant difference between the medium kind and the excellent kind, that part is a bit almost similar.
Yeah.
So
because they actually maintain the same quality, right? I mean,
no significant difference in that thing. But most of us, we do spend, like, at least now I'm working, so I do go out and I spend time and out. And so minimum you would spend around, I would, if you end up having a couple of drinks and a main course and a starter, and it would cost you easily like 100-120 euros at one go.
For the same thing, I would say if you're going out here in Poland, if you're going to a fancy restaurant eating, like starters, main course, couple of drinks, so it'll cost you like 25 euros max if you're going to a good place.
I'm not even saying fancy restaurants. I'm saying like average or above average in a
Yeah.
way. Like,
So
yeah,
it's
fancy. I
just
think
yeah, I would just say in Poland it's like just 1/4 of what you spend in Norway. Like
the train tickets, everything, it's tend to be a bit more expensive here. The taxation is higher, so things are also higher. And like hotel, like minimum hotel would be around 80 to 100 euros, like basic ones, and the good ones even higher, much higher. So yeah, things are generally. And what about the housing and stuff? Like, what about how is it for renting and stuff here?
okay, so for I would say for renting, let's say 1 BHK in Poland, it actually depends upon your city because some of the cities are quite cheap. I mean, the rent are cheaper, some are quite expensive. So, if for example, if you're living in a big city like, for example, me, Wrocław or Warsaw, the capital. So, if you are living somewhere near the city center, so for 1 BHK, you can easily expect, let's say, 500 euros for 1 BHK.
In
And
here, it
also,
would be 1,200, maybe a bit more also. So yeah, yeah.
so it actually depends upon the location of the city, like where you are actually renting it. And if you are, for example, me currently, I stay in a shared apartment. Like I have like shared like toilet and kitchen. I have flatmates. So for I'm just renting this room, and I pay like 1,000 Polish zloty, which is let's say somewhere around 250 euros.
Don't get that in Norway.
Quite cheap. I mean,
Nowhere,
it's like
not even the.
it's like the same you can expect if you're living in a, like for example in Mumbai or Bangalore. So I think you will pay the same rent
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the same place.
Exactly.
So
No, here in Norway, it would be at least pay 500 to 600 in a shared accommodation, but not necessarily they're the best ones, but they're good enough, I would say. But again, you need to get lucky. It depends on the city, it depends on the location within the city and
exactly.
all those things. There is a variation.
I mean, you just need to do your own search before renting a place. Just look at all the what are options you have, and yeah.
And also, I just want to mention there's a lot of scams online. So never ever pay anyone any money to book a room or anything, because I've seen a lot of students reaching out saying that they're already making bookings for a room in Oslo. It never happens. Nobody gives you a room from, you need to actually come and visit. In Norway, the minimum thing is when they actually make a call or thing for rooms, you actually have to go and visit, and there is a queue. The owner has to like you before they give you the house. So
Okay.
there's a very standard system in which here things work. It's not very direct, like you just apply and you get it. So, and I know that there's a lot of scam which is happening right now in online, where they're saying that they're publishing very cheap rooms, and people from outside of Norway who are students who are coming in think that's a great deal, and then they end up booking it, and it's always generally it's a scam.
Okay, for that I would say in Poland it's quite lenient. Like for example, last year when I was in Istanbul, Turkey, so I was kind of homeless. I didn't have a place to stay in Poland, so I was looking for the like apartments and room to rent online, and I just selected one room and I just talked to the guy like on Messenger. Like here, most of the things work on Messenger. For example, people prefer putting the ads on Facebook Marketplace. You can just look on the ad, and if you are interested, you can just like DM the guy like, hey, I'm interested. Can I rent it? So he basically asked me like, do I live in Poland? Like I'm a student or whatever I work. So I just told like I'm a student, and he told me like, okay, maybe you can send. If you're not currently physically present in Poland, maybe you can send one of your friend to just have a look or apartment, just for your sake of like surety. I was like, okay, cool. So I just sent one of my friend, and he actually saw this place. He told me it was fine, so I just got in touch with the guy again and sent him like something in advance, let's say like 50 euros. He just asked me like, maybe you can just send me 50 euros in advance so that I can just like book that room for you, so that will also be I'll be sure. So I just like sending 50 euros, and when I came to physical in Poland, I signed the contract. So I would say always for signing the contract, most of the times you have to physically present in Poland or in the country to sign the contract and get the keys. I mean, come on, you cannot get the keys like online, right?
Yeah. people need to be a bit more careful in this. But I would say if it's a student who are coming for the first time, I would totally recommend them to stay in the student accommodation, student
Exactly.
living.
I mean,
I think
also
it's
that's what I
perfect.
said. Yeah, because it's like cheap. It's very cheap here in Poland. The student dormitory you can get from like 100 euros or even less, like
Per
90
month.
euros. Yeah, per month. And
Uh,
you'll basically you'll have a like a roommate. Like there'll be like two people living in the room. But yeah, you can get like from 90 euros, like the student
no,
dormitory.
that's
It's like
unheard of in Norway.
fucking
Norway, the minimum is 400, 450 euros.
yeah.
And that you'll be sharing with 5 others, not 2. 2 would be maybe 700, 800.
So yeah, for that it's very cheap. Like dormitories are the best place. In the beginning, when you don't know anything about the country, city,
Exactly.
just stay in dormitory, and it's also help for your visa. Like if you have the letter from the university for dormitory, the embassy or the people, they know that yeah, you have a place from university, so you're gonna stay there. So yeah, it's very good to stay in dormitory. And even to like make friends, because in the beginning you don't really know anybody, and if you are renting a personal place, so you will be like feel like left out. So if you are living in the dormitory initially, so you'll meet a lot of people because everybody will from different countries, places. So yeah, it's very easy to like mingle and make friends.
Exactly. I would suggest the same thing for Norway. It's the perfect place to start your life as a student.
If we talk about the price of groceries in Norway, like yeah, like how expensive it is.
Let's try to compare one thing at one thing. I don't know.
Example, 1 liter of water, like how much will it cost?
Generally, water is free in the tap and it's super clean
I've
and
heard that.
tasty.
I've heard
And
that. Like
it's
a
one of
tap
the best waters,
Yeah.
I've tasted in my life, and it's so good. So basically, we drink water from the tap, and it's completely free. If I have to say, when we go and buy a liter of water from the shop, it would cost around, if you're from a grocery shop, it would cost you 2.5 euros.
I would say in Poland, it'll be like let's say 80 euro cent or 90 euro cent. Like
So it's twice more in Norway. Again, it depends. I'm talking about the basic ones. You can still get the fancy ones, which is 3 to 4 euros.
okay, and also like personally me, I feel like I haven't been to Norway, but I feel also the water in Poland is quite like good. So basically, I didn't trap water. I don't really buy water, like because I feel I'm going from India, so I know like what the dirty water is, actually. So I feel the tap water also here in Poland in some cities is like really good. Also, it depends upon your locality, on your society, the place we are living. So in my society, like I think most of the people that didn't tap water.
We don't have to filter anything. It's just natural. I just consume directly from the tap, and it's I don't have anything for everything is just normal. The water here. So
How much is let's say a liter of Coca-Cola, like let's say Coca-Cola?
I think Coke is again 3.5 to 4 euros in a grocery shop, in a regular grocery shop. A Coke,
For 1 liter?
1.5 liters. Yeah.
For the same here in Poland, you'll pay less than 1 euros for a
Okay.
vegetables. As you mentioned before, it's like very expensive, like vegetables in Norway.
See, again, it fluctuates a little bit because you don't grow a lot of things here. And most of the things here, which is grown, is under the greenhouse because of the sun is only there very much for several months, and you have a bit of darkness. So you do have vegetables which is grown here, but a lot of vegetables and fruits come from south of Europe to a larger extent, or from Turkey, or from even South America, etc. They get a lot of stuff. In groceries, I'm talking about the regular groceries. If you go for the ones which are smaller shops, which is open on Sundays or something, the price increases even more. So
Exactly, same here.
yeah, so like a kilo of banana would be 3-4 euros, maybe 5 euros. It depends on season, but
In Poland, it's like 1 euro or 1.5 euros.
or a tomato would be the same, could be around 3 euros, 3.5 to 4. So I don't see anything you get for 1 euro. Like it's like unheard of. Maybe a chocolate bar, like 170 gram of chocolate, a hazelnut chocolate bar, 170 gram would be around 4 euros.
So yeah, I mean, I would say in Poland, like most of the things are for like 1 euros. I mean, easily you can find things for 1 euros.
Yeah, it's maybe if I go to a kind of a Turkish shop, which is like a Turkish vegetable, and there you might get little less, 25%, 30% less. If it's an offer, maybe a bit more. But otherwise, it's significantly higher. The cost of vegetables and fruits, especially if you want to live on an organic and if you want to live more healthy vegetarian, it tends to be more expensive than actually eating meat here. So a fish would cost much cheaper compared to some of the vegetables here. So, so it depends, right, where the things are produced. So
exactly, I would say it's kind of same in Poland. For example, like chicken is way cheaper than even like some vegetables. Like a
how
chicken
much
meat
is
is
a
like
kilo of chicken in?
it's like two euros, 1.5 2 euros.
Here it would be 6 euros, 5.5 to 6.
I think everything in Norway is like 3 times of Poland, less than 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. What's a single ticket you would pay for a travel, like a bus ride or a tram ride? How much it costs?
Here in Poland, the tickets depends upon the number of like hours or minutes you are buying it for. So let's say a 30-minute ticket will cost you 5 zlotys, which is like almost 1.2 euros. Like for 30 minutes.
Yeah, because in Norway it's again 60 minutes. You can travel anywhere in a lot of this, and it costs around 3.5 to 4 euros.
Here in Poland, like most of the people, what they do, we get the semester ticket, like the urban card. So you just need to pay once for like 3 or 4 months, and in that you save actually a lot of money. So for that you can expect like 50 euros for like 4 months. So you can travel like unlimited in like public transportation.
Norway is the same, but it won't be 50. It's around 350.
Okay.
No. It's actually no. I think I'm saying it wrong. I think it's around 800 euros. Yeah, actually it's 350 per year for a student for travel. So it's So per month it actually comes reduced maybe. Maybe I'm saying the wrong numbers because it's been a bit long time. But it's as a student it is 750. As a student it is 750 per year. Per year. Okay. And for an employee or a regular person, it's 1,500 or something like that. So it is way expensive than Poland for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I can see like everything is just 3 or 4 times of Poland in Norway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I think it's also. But having said that, you could live a pretty okay life. It's not, because the thing is, when you start earning salaries, as we talked about, the Polish salaries are way low. In Norway, even a student doesn't get 800 euros per month. So in that sense, it's much better way of going about. But again, probably when you see the difference in the savings you might end up having in a month, it may be almost same in Poland versus Norway. So
because in Norway you're paying more taxes, it's like more expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. So you could still have a similar standard of living, whether it's Norway or Poland, possibly. Yeah.
Okay, and my fourth point will be, how hard is to find Indian food or like Indian restaurants in Norway? Are there like plenty of them or like very few?
See, again, the Indian restaurants, it completely depends. I'm living right now in Oslo, the capital of Norway, and of course, right now is a huge outburst of restaurants. Like every second day, there's new restaurants coming up, and all kind of restaurants. And we have specific South Indian restaurants, which was unheard of in Norway before. So you get dosas, idlis and stuff. And not one, there are 3 of them right now in the last 1 year. So in the main neighborhoods, you have Indian restaurants, I would say. I would not say it's plenty, because I know in many of the other European countries there's a lot. But in Norway, it's picking up. You have variation, like very high-end Indian restaurants where you would pay for a chicken tikka masala would cost you like 30 euros for one dish, while you get the basic one, you would get it for 13 euros, like the cheapest one. So that's the variation you would get. But you have at least 10 to 15 Indian restaurants, which I know of in just one neighborhood, I would say. So but in the overall country wise, I think every city might have 1 or 2 Indian restaurants maximum. It's not a lot of them, but it's picking up. It's just getting better. And you don't have specific Indian grocery shops, but you have Pakistani and Sri Lankan ones where you can also get Indian stuff. Suddenly, in the last 6 months, we're getting Patanjali stuff here in Norway, which is our Ramdev has moved here.
Yeah, it's spreading business all over the world.
Means we have options, but again, I'm living in the capital. But if you go to other cities and maybe a smaller town in Norway, forget it. You have no such options. But when I heard about how it was in Norway even 30 years ago, my colleagues say that it was not like this. Possibly the introduction of pizza was the first thing in 1970s or 80s, and then they had few restaurants from like China or something, but all the other things has picked up in the last 10-15 years in Norway.
I would say like in Poland, there are like plenty of Indian restaurants. In like every city you go, you'll find like plenty of Indian restaurants, and also like other cuisines as well. Because I would say there are a lot of Indians for sure.
In Poland?
Yeah, in Poland and Norway for sure. If you go to the capital of Warsaw, there are a lot of Indians. Even you can find like I've been to Warsaw like 2 times, and most of the times I took an Uber and there was Indian driver there. I was like kind of happy and surprised as well. So yeah, there are a lot of Indians in Warsaw especially, and there are a lot of I would say the Indian restaurants in Warsaw are comparatively quite cheaper compared to other cities in which they don't have Indian restaurants. For meal, I would say in an Indian restaurant you can get let's say chicken tikka masala with like one complimentary naan for let's say less than 10 euros, like 8 euros.
Are you talking about the decent ones or normal ones?
I mean, I'm talking about a decent restaurant. And if you go to like a very high-end Indian restaurant, which we have like few in plenty of cities, so I would say you can easily expect paying somewhere around like 25 euros for like meal for 2 persons.
2 people.
Yeah.
First of all, we only get complimentary naan in one restaurant, which I know in Oslo, which is Indian, and you pay naan bread, chicken tikka, whatever. You'd pay like 13 euros. That's what I said. You get a bit of rice and a bit salad. That's the basic, like the cheapest one. But if the regular restaurants, just the dish, the chicken dish would cost you 25 euros and the naan would cost you 5 euros. So
I know the price of naan here is 7 Polish zloty, which is let's say 2 euros. Like less than 2 euros for a naan. Yeah.
Yeah, but still it's expensive for a naan, whether it's Poland or whether it's Norway. I think for 2 euros,
it's like in Indian rupees, it's like 150 rupees for a naan. Like
you would get the whole meal in India for that.
Yeah, for 100 rupees you can get a whole meal for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's yeah, but there are some good ones. I like some restaurants here, but majority of the time we cook. I cook myself, and then I have friends who cook really good biryanis and dishes. So we generally don't go out. And if I go out, I don't really try Indian food unless my colleagues or friends want to try Indian food. That's the only time I go with them to Indian restaurants. But generally, I try other cuisines because I'm excited to try other food and other stuff.
For me, it's kind of same. I don't really cook personally. I don't know. I'm like too. I don't know. It's like too much work.
Most of us never cook, so.
So I have like few of my friends, and especially one of my friend who cooks like really good. I mean, he has all the Indian spices from India. Like when he came to India, I'm from India. He bought a like whole bag of spices. So, so he has all the spices, and whenever I want to eat something like Indian food, I just give him a call and we cook together. So I just help him in cooking. And for me, like I don't really go out here to like eat Indian food. It can depend if some of my like Polish friend or some friend want to try Indian cuisine same as you. So that's the only time I go out and eat like Indian food in restaurant. Or I'm also like always trying to eat something like new, some new cuisine or from the new country or some new dish.
I think it's always exciting to try out because you also improve your palate, and when you travel outside your country, it's the best thing. You can try out different food and figure out.
As what I see, like many of the Indians, when we move out of India, we always try to look for a comfort zone, looking for Indians around, looking for like the same food we used to eat back in India. I would say like when we like move out, we should really try and explore like, different things and just get to know like more people. And
it helps you to integrate better, I would say, when you are a bit more open-minded.
We'll talk about that in the next part.
Stay tuned and check out our next video.
I think that's pretty much for this part, and stay tuned for the next one.